You don't feel it at first, that quiet pressure building inside you. No pain, no alarm, just a slow, invisible force pressing against your arteries, day after day, until one morning, your body whispers something you can't ignore, and by then, the damage may already be done. You wake up feeling slightly off. Not sick, just not right. A little heavier in your chest, a faint headache that lingers longer than it should, a strange fatigue that sleep doesn't fix. You brush it off. You tell yourself it's stress, or age, or just another normal day. But what if it's not? What if your body has been trying to warn you, quietly, patiently, for years? And what if the one thing you've been told to rely on isn't enough? Welcome to Healthy Aging with Dr. Emily Carter, a place where we don't just talk about living longer, we talk about living aware. Because sometimes, the most dangerous threats to your health are the ones that don't shout, they whisper. If you're here, it means something inside you is paying attention. And I want you to trust that instinct. So before we go any further, take a moment and subscribe. Not because you have to, but because your future self might quietly thank you for it. Now let's talk about something most people misunderstand: blood pressure. You've probably heard it all before. Cut the salt. Walk more. Take your medication if prescribed. Monitor it occasionally. Simple, right? But here's the truth that often stays hidden beneath the surface. Lowering your blood pressure isn't just about numbers. It's about understanding the silent patterns, the habits you repeat every day without noticing, the stress you carry in your mind that quietly tightens your body, the way your lifestyle slowly teaches your heart how to behave. Because your blood pressure is not just a physical condition, it's a reflection of how you live, how you think, how you respond to the world around you. And that's where things begin to change. Imagine your arteries like a network of delicate roads. When you're young, they're smooth, flexible, open. Blood flows effortlessly, like a calm river. But over time, with stress, poor sleep, processed foods, and emotional strain, those roads begin to narrow. Not suddenly, but gradually. So gradually, you don't notice. Until one day, the pressure builds. Not because something broke overnight, but because something has been building quietly for years. And here's the part most people never hear. You can't fix years of pressure with occasional effort. You can't undo silent damage with surface-level habits. That 20-minute walk you take, it helps. But it's not enough. That low-salt meal you eat once in a while, it matters. But it's not the full picture. Because the real triggers are deeper. Let me ask you something. How often do you truly relax without distraction? Not scrolling on your phone, not watching television, not trying to escape your thoughts. I mean real, intentional stillness. Because your nervous system, the silent controller behind your blood pressure, doesn't understand distraction as rest. It understands presence. And when you're constantly stimulated, constantly worried, constantly thinking, your body stays in a subtle state of alert. Not panic, just tension. And that tension slowly raises your blood pressure. Day by day, moment by moment. This is why two people can eat the same food, live similar lifestyles, and yet one develops hypertension while the other doesn't. Because the difference is often invisible. It lives in the mind. In the way one person carries stress and the other releases it. You see, your body doesn't separate emotional pressure from physical pressure. To your heart, stress is stress, whether it comes from your diet or your thoughts. And this is where the hidden truth begins to reveal itself. Lowering your blood pressure naturally and quickly isn't about doing more. It's about removing what's quietly harming you, consistently. Let me show you something most people overlook. The moment you wake up. That first hour sets the tone for your entire cardiovascular system. If you wake up and immediately check your phone, your mind floods with information, worry, comparison, stimulation. Your body reacts instantly. Your heart rate rises. Your blood vessels tighten. Your pressure begins to climb before your day has even started. But if you wake up slowly, breathe deeply, allow your body to transition gently into the day, something remarkable happens. Your nervous system stays calm. Your blood vessels remain relaxed. Your blood pressure begins the day lower. It sounds simple, but simplicity is often where the greatest power lies. Now think about your evenings. You're tired, maybe mentally drained. You sit down, eat quickly, maybe heavier than you should, scroll through your phone, or watch something to distract yourself. But your body is still processing everything you carried throughout the day. Stress hormones don't disappear just because the day ends. They linger. And when you go to sleep in that state, your body doesn't fully recover. Your blood pressure stays slightly elevated all night. And over time, that becomes your new normal. This is how silent damage builds. Not from one bad day, but from 1,000 unnoticed patterns. And here's something that may surprise you. Dehydration. Yes, something as simple as not drinking enough water can quietly raise your blood pressure. When your body lacks hydration, your blood becomes slightly thicker, your vessels constrict, and your heart has to work harder. It's subtle, but consistent. And consistency is what shapes your health. Now, let's talk about something even deeper. Control. The need to control everything, outcomes, people, situations. It creates a constant internal resistance, a silent tension that never fully relaxes. And your body feels it. Every second. Your arteries tighten, not just from what you eat, but from what you hold on to. This is why some of the most powerful ways to lower blood pressure don't come from a pill or even a diet. They come from release, letting go, slowing down, breathing in a way that tells your body, you're safe. Because safety is the language your nervous system understands. And when your body feels safe, your blood pressure naturally begins to fall. Not forced, not artificial, but real. This is the hidden truth most people miss. You don't just lower blood pressure. You create an internal environment where high pressure no longer needs to exist. And that shift changes everything. But here's where it gets even more important. Most people wait. They wait until the numbers are too high. Until the doctor says, now it's serious. Until symptoms appear or worsen. But by then, the process has already been happening for years. Quietly, patiently. And reversing it becomes harder. Not impossible, but harder. So the real question isn't, how do I fix this quickly? It's, why did this start in the first place? Because when you understand the root, the solution becomes clearer, simpler, and more powerful than you ever imagined. There's a moment in your day so ordinary, so routine, that you would never think it holds power over your heart. It happens quietly. No warning, no awareness. And yet, it may be one of the strongest forces keeping your blood pressure elevated, no matter how healthy you try to be. It's not what you eat. It's not how much you walk. It's how you rush. The constant, unnoticed urgency you carry inside your body from the second you open your eyes to the moment you finally lie down at night. Think about it. How often do you move through your day as if you're being chased by time? You eat quickly, barely tasting your food. You walk, but your mind is somewhere else. You speak, but you're already thinking about what comes next. Even when you sit down, your body doesn't truly sit. It stays tense, alert, waiting. And your heart responds to that. Because to your body, rushing is a signal that something is wrong, a signal that you are not safe. So it does what it's designed to do. It tightens your blood vessels. It increases your heart rate. It raises your blood pressure, just enough to prepare you for a threat that never actually comes. Not once, but dozens of times a day. This is what makes it dangerous. Not intensity, but repetition. A life lived in quiet urgency becomes a body living in constant pressure. And the most unsettling part? You get used to it. It becomes your normal. You stop noticing the tightness in your chest, the shallow breathing, the subtle tension in your shoulders. You adapt. But your arteries don't forget. They carry the imprint of every rushed moment, every suppressed pause, every breath you didn't fully take. And over time, that imprint becomes your baseline. This is why some people do everything right and still struggle. Because they never address the one thing that connects everything else, the pace of their inner world. Now, let me take you deeper into something even more hidden. Your breathing. Right now, without thinking, take a breath. Was it deep? Or was it short, shallow, barely reaching your chest? Most people don't realize this but the way you breathe throughout the day is one of the fastest ways to influence your blood pressure. Not tomorrow, not next week, right now. When your breathing is shallow, your body interprets it as stress. Oxygen levels shift, carbon dioxide balance changes, your blood vessels constrict. Your heart compensates. Pressure rises. But when you slow your breath, even slightly, something remarkable happens. Your nervous system begins to quiet. Your vessels relax. Your heart doesn't have to work as hard. Your blood pressure begins to drop. Almost immediately. This isn't theory. It's physiology. But here's the truth most people miss. You don't need complicated techniques. You don't need perfection. You just need awareness. A single moment where you stop and breathe with intention. Inhale slowly, through your nose, letting the air reach deeper than it usually does. Hold it gently, just for a second. Then exhale, longer than your inhale, as if you're releasing something you didn't even know you were holding. Do that a few times, and you'll feel it. Not dramatically, but subtly. A quiet shift, a softening. That's your body responding. That's your pressure beginning to ease. Now imagine what happens if you do this consistently, not once a week, but woven into your day, while sitting, while waiting, even while walking. This is how real change begins, not with effort, but with interruption. Interrupting the patterns that silently harm you and replacing them with ones that quietly heal you. And there's another pattern, deeply connected to this, that almost no one talks about. Your relationship with silence. Most people avoid it. They fill every empty moment with noise, music, television, conversations, scrolling, because silence feels uncomfortable. It brings you face to face with your thoughts, your worries, your unfinished emotions. So you escape it. But here's what that does to your body. It keeps your mind constantly stimulated. Your nervous system never gets a chance to reset. It stays slightly activated, all day, every day. And your blood pressure follows that rhythm. Elevated, not dangerously high, but never fully at rest. This is why even when you relax, your body doesn't fully relax. Because true relaxation requires stillness. And stillness requires you to face what you've been avoiding, even if just for a few minutes. Sitting quietly, without distraction, may feel insignificant, but inside your body, it's powerful. It tells your system, there is no threat. It allows your heart to slow, your vessels to open, your pressure to drop, naturally, without force. And over time, that becomes your new baseline. Now let me share something even more unexpected. Your thoughts about your own health. Yes, even the way you think about your blood pressure can influence it. If every time you check it, you feel fear, anxiety, frustration, your body reacts. It tightens. It resists. And ironically, your pressure may rise in that very moment. This is known as a silent psychological loop. You worry about your health, your body responds to that worry, and the very thing you fear begins to appear. Not because you caused it intentionally, but because your body is listening. Constantly. So what do you do with that? You shift your approach. Instead of checking your blood pressure with fear, you observe it with curiosity, without judgment, without panic. You treat it as information, not a verdict. Because your body responds differently when you do. It softens instead of resisting, and that softness matters more than you think. Now pause for a second and reflect on everything we've uncovered so far. It's not just about food, not just about exercise, but about something far more subtle. The way you live, moment to moment. The way you breathe, think, move, react. These are the hidden levers, quietly controlling your blood pressure every day. And the most empowering part? You can begin changing them immediately. No prescription required. No waiting. Just awareness and small, intentional shifts. But there's still one more layer, one that many people overlook, even when they've improved everything else. A layer that lives in your daily habits, your routines, your environment. Something so common that it blends into your life. Yet it silently pushes your blood pressure higher, again and again, without you ever realizing it. And once you see it, you won't be able to ignore it. There's something in your life, So familiar, so deeply woven into your daily routine that you no longer question it. You trust it. You rely on it. In fact, you may even believe it's helping you stay energized, focused, functional. But what if I told you? This one habit quietly tightens your blood vessels, overstimulates your heart, and keeps your blood pressure elevated, long after you think its effects are gone. I'm talking about stimulation, the kind you consume without thinking. Caffeine, constant screen exposure, and the endless flow of information your mind processes every single day. Let's begin with something simple, your morning cup. You wake up feeling slow, maybe a little foggy, not fully alive yet. So you reach for it. Tea, coffee, something warm, familiar, comforting. It feels harmless, even helpful. And in small, mindful amounts, it can be. But here's where the hidden truth lives. It's not just what you drink, it's how and when you depend on it. When caffeine becomes your first signal to wake up, your body slowly forgets how to regulate its own energy naturally. Your nervous system becomes reliant on stimulation, rather than balance. And what does stimulation do? It activates your fight or flight response, even if just slightly. Your heart rate increases. Your blood vessels constrict. Your pressure rises. Again, not dramatically, but consistently. And consistency is what shapes your long-term health. Now combine that with something even more powerful. Screams. From the moment you wake up to the moment you fall asleep, your eyes, your brain, your nervous system are under constant stimulation. Notifications, news, social media, endless scrolling. Even when you think you're relaxing, your mind is absorbing, comparing, reacting. And your body doesn't distinguish between physical and mental stimulation. To your system, it's all input. And too much input creates tension. That tension becomes internal pressure. And over time, that pressure becomes physical. This is why some people feel exhausted, yet unable to truly rest. Because their bodies are tired, but their nervous systems are still awake, still alert, still processing. And in that state, your blood pressure never fully drops. Not during the day, not even at night. Now imagine this pattern, repeated daily, for years. This is how silent damage builds, even in people who believe they are doing everything right. But here's where the story begins to change. Because once you become aware of this, you gain control. Not by eliminating everything, but by creating boundaries. Simple, intentional boundaries that allow your body to recover. Let me show you what that looks like, not as a strict rule, but as a gentle shift. You wake up, and instead of reaching for your phone or your caffeine immediately, you give your body a moment, just a few minutes of stillness, natural light, a glass of water, a slow breath. You allow your system to wake up without force. Then, when you do have your tea or coffee, you do it consciously, not as a reflex, but as a choice. You notice how your body feels, before and after. This awareness alone changes everything. Now think about your day. Instead of constant stimulation, you create small pockets of pause. Moments where you step away, even briefly, from noise, from screens, from input. You let your mind settle. Your body follows. And your blood pressure responds. Not instantly, not dramatically, but steadily. Then comes the evening. The most underestimated part of your entire day. This is where your body decides whether to repair or to remain in a state of quiet stress. If your night is filled with bright screens, heavy thoughts, late stimulation, your nervous system stays active. Your heart doesn't fully slow down. Your blood pressure remains slightly elevated all night. But if you begin to dim the lights, reduce stimulation, allow your mind to soften, something shifts. Your body recognizes the signal. Safety, rest, recovery. And during those hours, while you sleep, your blood vessels relax, your heart recovers, your pressure gently falls. This is where true healing happens. Not in effort, but in allowing. Now take a step back and see the full picture. Your blood pressure is not controlled by a single action. It's shaped by a rhythm of stimulation and rest, tension and release, awareness and unconscious habit. Most people live in imbalance. Too much stimulation, too little recovery, And over time, that imbalance becomes disease. But when you begin to restore that rhythm, everything changes. Not overnight, but consistently. And consistency is more powerful than intensity. You don't need extreme diets. You don't need exhausting routines. You need alignment. Small, repeated choices that tell your body again and again, you are safe. And when your body believes that, it lets go of the pressure it's been holding. This is the truth most people never hear. That healing doesn't come from fighting your body, but from understanding it, working with it, listening to it before it has to shout. So tonight, or tomorrow morning, or even right now, pause. Take a breath, a real one. Notice your body, not with fear, but with curiosity. Because the moment you begin to notice is the moment everything begins to change. And maybe, just maybe, your heart has been waiting for that moment all along.